Hi, what's up, Inman? So I'm Brett, and I am a co-founder and CEO of a charity called New Story. What we do is we fund and we build houses for only $6,000 per home. Yes, $6,000 per home. And in doing that, we transform slum areas into new sustainable communities. But today, I want to specifically talk about transparency, or the lack thereof transparency in the charitable space. And I want to preface the talk by saying that this does not apply to all charities, as of course there are organizations that we love and have the utmost respect for. This talk is geared toward the ones that we don't really trust. So when I say the word charity, different things probably come to your mind in this room. And a quick story of kind of what I deal with is a couple weeks ago, I was on a family vacation, and we went out to dinner and had a couple next to us, and we struck up a conversation. And of course, the what do you do question comes up. And so I simply start describing, well, I'm part of an organization that crowdfunds houses and is building communities. And then my mom, being a typical mom, goes, he started a charity, and it's an amazing charity. Thanks, Mom. The couple looks at me, and they go, oh, a charity. That's nice. That's good for you. And in my head, I kind of register like what that word means, and I know that it carries some baggage. And even though I have a bent-up passion inside of me that says, no, you understand, like we're doing it differently, I kind of cut my losses there. But that's kind of what I deal with the word. And so that's what I want to talk about. Now, we're dealing with a $373 billion industry. That's what was given in 2015 to charity. And from what I understand, the real estate world, the companies and agents in here, you partake in a lot of charitable giving. It's a big deal. Now, if I was to ask the room, or I am going to ask the room, if you guys gave $1,000 online, like if you got out your phone with your credit card, $1,000 online to a charity, how many people in this room would trust where that money goes and the direct result it's going to have? Little show of hands, little participation. Fully trust where it goes. All right, well, according to The Guardian, about 43% of people don't really trust where it goes. And that could be due to a bad personal experience, that could be due to, I don't know, stuff you see in the news, but at the end of the day, you don't really trust where it goes. And it's not because you're bad people or you don't want to help. I believe you do want to change people's lives. You just don't know who to trust. And it's taxing, and it gets annoying and frustrating, and you're just like, I don't really know what to do, so I'm not going to give. I'm going to do something else. And I totally understand that because I used to feel the exact same way. And then we read headlines like this. In search of the Red Cross's $500 million of Haiti relief. You can't make this stuff up, folks. This is from NPR. And it is sick. I am sick of people thinking charity is like this. And the results, the consequences that we might not think about in this room are the people that the donors were trying to help and serve end up in situations like this. So this is the family that I've been and I've met, and I've actually been in this tent. So after the earthquake in Haiti in 2010, people were given temporary tents that were only supposed to last for about 6 months. Turns out they've now been in them for 7 years. And I'm going to kind of paint a picture of what that looks like. So if there's any parents in here, kind of imagine your kids living through this. So, I mean, aside from the obvious of what it looks like, what it probably smells like, how hot it is inside, think about when it rains at night, and it rains a lot. And mud and sewage rushes through the floor at night. And the kids who sleep on the floor, they have to stand up the whole night. Imagine if you're a parent trying to leave for work or to try to do something for your family, and you leave and your kids or your wife have no protection or no safety because there's no safe home. This is what my team and I discovered down in Haiti. And a kind of quick background of how this thing started. I never thought that I would start a charity, like ever. I was actually kind of the opposite of a charity guy. Growing up, I really cared about the 3 Gs, which to me was girls, gold, and glory. So kind of the opposite of a charity. But then, kind of do that for about 6 years, becomes an unfulfilling lifestyle. And I made a 180 in my life through a revived faith and took a trip down to Haiti, and I saw life-threatening homelessness. And I just got back and I met up with my co-founders, and we become so frustrated because it wasn't a lack of capital. That was not the issue. Money was given to bigger organizations. It was a lack of transparency. And it's not just in Haiti, right? It's all over the world, a lack of transparency. And so we came together and said, man, we've got to design a model to create more trust and more transparency. And so we used some technology and we tried to use some innovation to found News Story on a very simple belief that one, when people give to charity, they should know exactly who they help. We do that digitally. Number two, they should know where 100% of the donation goes. And then number three is you should know the end result of your donation. And so that's how we started, and we believe that when that happens, transparency unlocks potential. Potential in donors, potential in partners, and potential, most importantly, in the people that it is serving. And now there are some amazing organizations that have incredible transparency. A couple examples, and I just wish every organization operated in this mindset. So Charity Water, they build wells around the world, and they put a GPS tracking system and a sustainability tracking system on every single well, thousands of wells around the world, so you know how the well is doing. Pencils of Promise, which is an education nonprofit, they come out with quarterly transparency reports every quarter. Like, why would every charity not do that or be held to that standard? News Story, one of the things that we do and that we really care about is closing the loop on the donor experience. So when families move into new houses, we actually take a move-in video of them getting their keys, their home certificate, an interview. I mean, this is a big day for them. And we send it back to everybody that donated, whether they gave $5 or $6,000 for the house, because the donors are the ones that made it happen, not News Story. And the least we can do is connect them. And so there are a lot of organizations that do operate with transparency. And the question was asked, how do you fix the transparency problem in the space? Like, that is a very serious issue that I'm not going to sit up here trying to say I know the exact answer to that. But I think a really good starting point is by donors or companies demanding transparency and demanding for charities to make an effort to change some systems, to do a little innovation, to have more transparency in how they operate. And if they do that, I fully believe that we will unlock more potential. Now, this is a little example of a school that our kids go to, and apparently we've unlocked this little boy's crush on this girl, if you can look at him. But yeah, this is just the joy that can be brought, when things actually get done. And so kind of the vision that I see with charity, and if I said I work for a charity, what could be and what should be looks like this. On one side, you have people with love and compassion that are attacking big problems, right? Very exciting. And then that's aligned with innovation and transparency and for-profit excellence and rigor, that type of mindset. Charity should sit at the middle of those. And if you could kind of imagine how that could impact maybe the 43% of people that don't really trust charity, or maybe those of you that didn't raise your hand today, if this was real and it actually looked like this, I believe that we would have more impact. And I believe it is absolutely critical because we have to change the status quo. There has to be more innovation and transparency in the charitable space. Why? Why the hell am I up here even talking about this? Because at the end of the day, millions of lives, millions of kids are at stake. For your cause, for all of our causes that we deeply care about, for News Story's cause, they're at stake. And I want to close with an example of a story of my friend Sashu, who's this little girl, little princess that you see in the pink dress. And so for some reason, I don't know why, but whenever I visit her village twice a year, she doesn't really know what we do, but she just kind of sees me from afar and her eyes light up and she runs towards me and gives me a big hug And it's just, man, it lights up my heart more than almost anything. And then I think about, man, what was this girl's life like before she got into a new story home? For 5 years, when she was living in one of those tents that I showed you, like, even though billions of dollars was given to larger organizations that was supposed to help her out and get her into a safe home or into something, like, she went through what most of us in this room would consider, especially if it was our kids, very close to like a hell on earth. I mean, I think, like, for 5 years, what did she do during storms? Like, where did she hide? Where? Or, you know, it's hard to even fathom, like, what dangers she might have been exposed to, because there's no safety or shelter when you don't have a safe home. And and then I think, well, if there was transparency, if there was accountability demanded and applied to all of that capital that was given here, I undoubtedly believe that her story would have been changed earlier, and other lives would have been saved, been changed, and that's an example for every cause that we all care about. There's more transparency, I believe, that happens. And so I would just ask you, as you give personally or as a company, to choose a charity that has transparency, and if they don't, demand some transparency so that nothing goes to waste. And then together, you can do the most beautiful thing in life. You can help change a person's life forever. Thank you.